Today's video, we're going to do a really cool experiment to find out if you would be protected if you were behind a brick wall, more specifically, a sequence of several bricks. Just like we set up here, we picked out several guns so we can do multiple shots from lower caliber weapons to more powerful calibers. And we're going to test to find out which gun can go through the most blocks and see if you would be protected if you were behind these blocks in a shootout. This here is the lineup we have for today's video, starting with the 22, which is going to be the weakest gun we'll have today. Then stepping it up a bit, we have a 9mm, a gun with a bit more power, much more powerful than the 22. Then we keep going up. We also have a 40 here, then a 45. This 45 is on the 1911 platform, a slightly older gun, and its design is even different from the others. Really cool, something truly older, more beautiful, right? We also have a 357 Magnum revolver, and this thing is much more powerful. And to finish, we have this rifle, which is in Military and Police 15 Sport 2 by Smith & Wesson, a very beautiful weapon. And look, check out its little ammo. So these would be all the types of ammo in today's video. The 22, the 3/8 of an inch, the 40, the 45, which is already a bit bigger, you can notice that. Here we also have the 357, and to finish, the rifle is already something much more powerful. I'm really curious to see the damage this one is going to do, man, because it's a much more powerful round. I think it might even go through that whole row of blocks we made, but let's find out, right? Alright, let's go. Let's start with the 22. I don't think this gun here, guys, is going to do much, but let's see. I'll try to shoot right in the center of the block so we can see exactly how many blocks it goes through, if it goes through any, right? 3, 2, 1. The first shot made a hole. Look, in the first block it made a hole. It didn't break or crack or anything, but look, it didn't even go through the first block. It only went through this first layer, and since it was right in the center, the shot didn't hit any of these other parts. It went through this first layer, but it hit the wall of this second layer right here in the center of this hole, and it didn't go through. So a .22 caliber shot just with a block like this one, you would already be protected if I were behind the shot. In fact, the projectile stayed right here. Look, see how the lead got smashed? It actually broke the lead, right? It totally disintegrated it. Let's try to find and separate all the projectiles so we can compare their deformation at the end of the video. The next one now is a 9mm Springfield XD Elite. Let's go. It's already a competition gun, so it's much more accurate. I hope I don't miss. I can't mess up here shooting it. Second shot, let's see what happened, since it's a much more powerful gun. Look, the entry hole here in the block was already a bit bigger than the 22. I managed to hit exactly on the line where this division of the block is, right? So the shot didn't even go through. It broke a lot of this inner layer here. Or actually, I didn't miss here, right? Looking at it now, it went right through. It went through this. It went through the middle. Look, the exit hole in this block, the first block, was much bigger. It went through, and this second one also didn't reach the third. Look here, it almost broke the second block, made a small hole here, and look at the projectile. We managed to find this second one. Wow, it's a much bigger lead, right? Since the ammo has more gunpowder, it has more energy and was able to hit this second block, go through this second block as well. Look, man, interesting, bro, interesting. With this 9mm now, you wouldn't be protected if you were behind just one block, but maybe two. Things would be a little safer. Our next weapon now is the 40 caliber. I switched out the front blocks, which had broken, and put in new blocks and put the broken ones in the back, so we can make a comparison. Very precise, so there's no risk of the block already being a bit damaged there. Let's see how many blocks it can really withstand, right? 3, 2, 1. This time, besides making a hole, the block even cracked. Looking from afar, let's see what happened here. Wow, look, this first block, look what happened. It broke, split the block. Wow, look at the damage it did. I managed to hit exactly where the block is divided, so it broke this first part here, made quite a mess. But since it was right on the line, I think this ended up stopping the shot a bit and ended up protecting it. If we had shot in the center where the layer is thin, it would have gone through this one, possibly the second, and maybe even reached the third. Let's at least check here. Look, there's a piece of the projectile here and the whole thing is right here. Wow, it's a lot heavier than the others. Let's put it here with the rest. At the end of the video, we'll do an overall comparison. Now it's time for us to test the 45. Its platform is the 1911. Let's go. It's a gun with a slightly larger caliber, right? Let's see the damage it's going to do this time. I want to try to hit exactly in the center of the block so there's no risk of stopping on those little sides where it's more rigid. 3, 2, 1. Look, I think I hit it, huh? At least it made a nice little hole, opened up the second block. Yeah, look, it moved the blocks in the back. Wow, man, that made some serious damage. Look, this first block that I hit right in the center, my aim is good, it's sharp. Look, it made a tiny entry hole, but the exit made a much bigger hole. But the second block disintegrated, the second block is gone, turned to dust, turned into block crumbs. Look how cool, we can analyze exactly where it hit and the damage it caused, right? The projectile came from this side, hit here, it was probably a bit crooked, right? It caused more damage and kept getting thinner until it reached this last little wall where there wasn't much energy left. It managed to break, but it couldn't go through the third block. Look at the projectile here. It almost turned into a cauliflower. That's something, huh, Mano? It made some interesting damage. So far, these blocks are much more resistant than I thought they would be. But now I want to see, Mano. Now things are going to get a little more serious because it's time for us to test the 357 Magnum. I want to try to do the same thing, hit exactly in the middle so we can see how many blocks it can go through without that interference from that little central part there. I didn't hit exactly in the middle, but you could already see that pieces of brick flew off to the side. Let's see how many it went through. I should have hit right here. Man, no, it didn't work out very well. I hit a little more to the side, and this first block, wow, it really broke a lot here. The entry hole was small, but the exit shattered the block in this part here, and this second block also got really messed up, for sure. Wow, look at this hole. It went through here again. It didn't go past the second block, only reached the third, but it still caused serious damage. This project was the one that deformed the block the most. Besides just making a hole, it really broke it into several pieces, but once again, it couldn't get through the second one. So up until now. If you were behind a wall with 2 rows of blocks, you would be protected from all these weapons, but now it's time for us to test the rifle. All right, let's go. So let's put in the good magazine, everything's set up. I want to try to hit right in the middle, take a well-aligned shot to see if we can get through all the blocks now. I missed the shot. I think I missed, yeah.
It hit down here. Look, it shattered. It hit here and here. It exploded.
Look where I managed to hit the shot. I hit the wooden part, the block, this front block. Here it didn't do anything. The shot went under it, but in this little part, it made a little mess. This second block was the most damaged. It made quite a mess here. This third one didn't reach the other because the wood resisted a lot, right? We'll need to take another shot since the last one wasn't useful and couldn't be analyzed properly. Let's do one more now. I can't miss right in the center of the blocks. Let's go for the second try. This time I can't miss. No. Not this time. Hit it, I hit it. It wasn't exactly in the center of the block, but at least we managed to hit it. Now we just have to see the damage it did here. Look on the first block, look at the little hole, man. According to the project, it's supposed to be really small. It makes a much smaller hole than with the other weapons, but its exit is brutal. Here it easily tore up the first one. Wow, this second one almost disintegrated. It turned into dust. The third one, wow, the third one too. It hit here, man, went through, also turned the block into dust in the third and fourth. Wow, in the fourth, did it not even go through? Look, these blocks, man, are way more resistant than I imagined. Let's show now how the projectile turned out. The projectile got smashed. It was also split into a million pieces, and look how cool all the projectiles are here. This one was the 22 man, really small. They all got deformed, but look at their size and the shape they ended up with. This 22 got smashed. This one here was the 9mm. It also turned into a cauliflower. It ended up looking like a cauliflower, also got smashed, but look how it already has a much bigger mass, right? The third one was the 40. It only smashed the front part. The back part here stayed whole up to here, but it made quite a mess. Also, it already has a much bigger mass than the previous ones. This one is the .45. If you look at it, they even ended up in a similar shape, the .40 and the .45, but the .45 is a bit fatter, right? A little bigger. It has more mass too. Now this one is the 357. It made a different shape. I don't know if it cut. I don't think it cut. It got crushed on the side. Maybe what influenced it was where it hit the block, right? It ended up with a totally different shape from the others. And to finish, what was left of the 5.56 rifle was this here Monofagulas from the Projectile. Man, look, I was actually surprised that 3 blocks of this bay and brick here can protect you from a lot of things, man. It's true that a house, besides the blocks themselves, also has concrete that goes on both sides to hold the blocks together, right? You'd likely be well protected if you lived in a house during a shootout out front.